All right. Good morning. It is, I don't know, 7 o'clock here or something. Is this good? Okay. Let's talk about self-consciousness and how it is crazy, and it's like a literal jail that I ended up living in. And I obviously still in, but less so. Oh man. Okay. So I've been playing around with this, just kind of going wild thing as a practice. It's kind of dancing. It's kind of just wigging out, but it is a way for me to play with letting go. And so this morning, what I did was I went into my garage and listened to some music and just did a bunch of weird wiggly dancing. And it, most of the time it probably didn't look like dancing at all. It's just being weird and getting as much of that kind of wackiness out, and seeing how much I can let go in a context of total privacy, basically. So, there's some sound privacy provided by the garage, but not a lot. I definitely can't like scream or something, but I can make a little bit of noise, and I definitely have visual privacy. So, in that context, I feel really quite safe to do things that would be embarrassing to me in any sort of non-private context. And that's super important, to find the level that you're at. And it's almost exactly like strength training, where it does not help you to, when you are starting out, to step right up to a barbell loaded up with 500 pounds. Like, that doesn't help to, just try something impossible and then give up really quickly and be like, I can't do it, right? That's not helpful. And in that example, you might, just be lifting just the bar, or you might not have any external weight at all. It might just be body weight, or you might actually have to go farther than that and have assistance, on top of a body weight squat or something like that, right? So finding the level that you're actually at, and that's the big insight here, is that if you can let go of your ego enough to find that point where you actually feel safe enough to let go, then you've got a hold of something really amazing. Because otherwise you're stuck in this world of, I can't dance freely at a wedding or something like that. But that's a really big bar to cross. That's a hell of a standard to hold against yourself if you can't really dance at all, right? It's asking too much. And it's very tempting. It's so nice in a way to do that. To say, well, I can't do it, and just let yourself off the hook immediately because you can't do something that is really big and amazing. The fact of the matter is, for me, I in a way, I still don't think I can dance very well. Like, it's not impressive, it's not coordinated, it's not beautiful, it's not a lot of things. But that's okay. That's just where I'm at. And getting the wiggly craziness kind of movements out actually has an incredible amount of value for helping me release some of the self-conscious control that I'm exerting on myself that prevents me from doing something very normal for a human, like having fun dancing. And that's that right there is a big thing. That dancing is normal for humans, like it's a very human thing to do. And it's, in a way, you could say it's kind of a travesty, looking at my own personal history with it, that I developed this extreme fear around dancing, around free movement, and that robbed me of a lot over a long time. And And it's crazy because dancing should not be a source of fear. In fact, it should be a source of strength. It should be a source of all sorts of human archetypal, archetypal. Anyway, human archetypes that you can inhabit, these modes that you can be in, that you can practice, that you can understand how they feel. You can access those in something called, dance. And that is, it's a hell of a resource. It's like, it's just part of our default toolkit that then, I closed that toolbox at some point in my life. And then it was closed for so long that I started to believe that, that's only a toolbox that's available to certain people. I'm not a dancer, therefore I don't have the dancer's toolbox, which is total horseshit. And it's just, these are human resources that we all actually have access to. We just think we might not. And okay, so the wiggly and wild dancing. It's funny. I have a word for it now. Thank you, Mamu. But it's Gazubi. I was going Gazubi, and it's a wild, weird, wiggly, uncontrolled, uncoordinated, just a full spectrum, like a kid on too much sugar and just going nuts. That kind of energy. And what that does is it helps break down these walls that have been built up that keep us acting in very, quote unquote normal ways, that keep us, socially acceptable. And it's so cool that you can do this at the level that you're at. Take as much privacy preparation as you need to give yourself the space, because for anyone, there's some context that you could build that would give you that felt sense of security that would allow you to move in really weird ways that you otherwise wouldn't allow yourself to move. So you don't get off the hook, right? Even if you have to hike out in the middle of nowhere and do this out in the the middle of the desert, if that's what you need to do it, okay, then there's your mission. But I think for most people, just closing the blinds and having the privacy in your own home kind of thing, make that space feel really safe for yourself, and you can start working on it there. And oh man, what a fantastic morning practice. Do it in the morning and it's like, oh yeah, I'm awake, I feel good, and I have released a lot of the hang-ups, the restraints. I've loosened the restraints for the day, that kind of thing. And there's value to doing it at night too. I'm not saying one is better than the other. If you do it at night, kind of towards the end of the day, okay, then you're working out things that accumulated during the day, and then you get to go to sleep feeling pretty light, and like you don't have monkeys on your back, when you're going to bed. So hey, maybe both. I'm not saying that one is better than the other. Okay. One of my inspirations for this, not really inspirations, one of my validations is the guy who ran the cult here in Oregon, Osho. He did the documentary Wild Wild Country, which is amazing. If you haven't seen it, you got to see it. But he did this with his cult followers, where he would, I'm not starting a cult, he would have them do this kind of wild and crazy movements and vocalizations, either instead of or in preparation to meditating, because he was saying that Western people they've got so many hang-ups and so many issues that the idea of meditating is kind of lost on them. They just can't sit still like that. We got too many issues. And so instead he was having them do these really wild and crazy things, like blah, 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 just for like an hour, and it eventually breaks down those barriers and it loosens those restraints. And then they get to this, they have these, big emotional breakthroughs, these big enlightenment experiences, and then they, do their cult things. Anyway, Why do I want you to do cult things? I don't want you to do cult things. I just want you to, I want you to play around and see what is it like when you give yourself that security and that freedom, that context to move in weird, wiggly ways. I don't know why I keep coming back to that phrase. It just works for me right now. Because so many of the things that I've been working on lately really circle around self-consciousness. What am I allowing myself to do? Including, am I allowing myself to do something that might make me successful? You know, like that's actually a hang up for me. You know, can I follow through with something that might be close to what I want to do, right? And so I think there's a connection between, hey, do I allow myself to move freely because of, you know, the social constraint that I feel? And there's a connection to that and what I allow myself to do, say, professionally or socially, you know, relationally, things like that. I think, well, the phrase, how you do one thing is how you do all things. It's, you know, it's surprisingly true. If someone has kind of psychological hang-ups, those hang-ups show up in their movement. And so if I wanted to evaluate, hey, how free is someone, I just ask them to dance. Like, yeah, show me some free movement, you know, and you get a lot from that. You can see everything. You can see how they view themselves, how they view the world and their role in it. It's right there out in the open, and which is, of course, why it's so fucking terrifying, why it's so vulnerable, because you're showing everything. Now, I think the misconception there, even if it's a subconscious one, is that you can hide it. Like, oh, if if that's super vulnerable, then I'll hide it. But the thing is, then you're just showing the fact that you're hiding it, and you're still showing everything. You know, you kind of can't hide, which is, I don't know, kind of reassuring, I guess. You know, it's like, well, if there's no point, if you know, if my choice is be really weird and let people see it, or be really restrained and let people see that, it's like, I don't know. I feel like at that point, why not just be weird, and then you don't have to put all this effort into putting up some false image, which, you know, you could argue is actually pretty weird too. So, oh man. So I'm gonna do the wiggly mornings. I don't know, morning Gazubi, and you know, I haven't done it consistently, and I'm really curious to know what would it be like if that was just my morning routine. You know, get up, listen to like 2 or 3 songs worth, and just go wild and crazy for that 15 minutes and see what happens. Just see how do my days go when I get that out. And then, you know, maybe switch it and do evening ones for a little while, or do both and experiment, because really I love talking about the theory and everything, but also I have to just kind of try it out because I don't know. And it's tempting for me to think, oh, this is the answer, right? It's tempting for me to jump to a conclusion instead of staying with the question and just being comfortable with the fact that, yeah, I don't know. And it actually relieves a lot of pressure on me to hold that and just be like, oh, cool. That's actually good. I don't know. And I can continue to run little weird experiments on myself and see, oh, this is what allows Dylan to come out a little more and show up a little better and apologize less for who I am, things like that. So it was a good session this morning. It was so short. It was amazing how much it felt like I could get out in a very short period of time. And, you know, I don't necessarily have to schedule myself a really big experience to be able to work on this stuff. It can be little snippets, and that's cool. All right, let's wrap it up there. I'm gonna go do other things. All right, see you next time.